just walk right out the door. Don't wanna do this anymore. Now I'm lost without you. You drive me crazy out my mind. How'd you do this every time?
Hey guys, welcome back to Insomniac's Dream. Today's video is for this mythical look. It's kind of a weird blend between like a mermaid and like a fiery dragon inspiration, and it all just kind of came together into this. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to call it, but I'll probably eventually figure out a name for it. The reason I say there's kind of some dragon inspiration, some fire, just the color blue, was because they were actually inspired by the Blue Fire MODA set. This is another one of my sponsored videos for Halloween. Thank you very much to MODA for that. Super, super kind of you and really awesome. So as with a lot of my mythical looks, I like just having fun going in and seeing kind of where they end up. So admittedly, while this may not be a specific named creature, I am really happy with it. It's kind of like part Avatar, which is entirely unintentional, and like part influence from like my Dragon Warrior paint, so it's just somewhere in the middle. So if you guys are digging this look and want to see how it comes to life, then please just keep watching. First thing I did was take the flat kabuki brush and dampen it with some water, and then I used the Mehron Paradise Aqua Paints in white and light blue to start building up the skin tone all over my face, neck, chest, and ears. I laid down the blue first around the outside of my face, and then all the high points and center of the face, I went in straight with the white and then just used the kabuki brush to blend it into the blue. I did the same steps for the neck and chest, keeping any centered areas or parts that I wanted to be highlighted with the white. Once I had that base down, I just went in with a darker blue aqua paint and started applying this to the outside of my neck, shoulders, and face, using a little bit more as like a stippling motion here. That way I got the texture of the brush to actually stay and start creating a little bit more definition to the skin. Then to really start defining the different features, I took the Accentuate brush and a shadow from Sugarpill that's called After Party, which is just a medium tone blue shadow. And I use this to start contouring all the normal sections of my face, as well as different parts of my bone structure. In the previous video I did for my Frozen look, I did go a little bit more in depth on how I contour for more fantasy looks, and I followed a lot of the same steps here, but then also just making sure to change a few of the shapes and add a little bit more definition in slightly different areas for essentially just a different feel. I especially like to use the same color for contouring around the cheeks, along the nose, and around the mouth. Especially since we left the center of the face a little bit brighter with the white paint, this will just add even more contrast and draw attention to the center of the face where you want it to be focused. Then with different tones of teal and blue shadows and the Pro Shader brush, I did just start building up the eye shape I wanted, starting with a very light teal and focusing it pretty much on the highest point of my brow bone, and then just taking a more pigmented teal as well as a cobalt blue and moving those colors down in a gradient towards the crease until it's at its darkest point. To help brighten the eye area, I did just cut out the inner portion of my eye with a white concealer and the concealer brush, and then I went over top of it with an Inglot pigment, numbered 114, which is basically just a iridescent teal. I also used a loose shadow from Sugarpill called Lumi, which is white but has an iridescent chromatic shift to teal in it, so it's kind of really appropriate for this look. Applied that to my inner corners and my brow bone, and then I took a black gel liner and started using this to build the shape I wanted for the eye. With the pointed liner brush, I focused this on the outside corner of the eye and then pulled it out into a big wing shape and then just softened it at the edges. I then just followed that with a matte black shadow on my liner brush and applied this to everywhere I'd put the gel liner down. This just helps set it a little bit better, as well as makes it even darker and more rich in color. And then I also used this to pull out a little extra wing on the side of my eye. And then I just followed it with the cobalt blue as well to blend everything together and have it transition a little bit more into the teals.
You drive me crazy out.
For liner, I just took my NYX matte liquid liner and created a pretty strong large wing following the shape I've already built up, and then also redefined the little extra wing I added underneath. Then to start adding up all the blue smoke details I wanted to add in, I was using the fine liner brush and the small eye shader. When I was building up these designs, I was thinking very much of like smoke and fire textures, very literally taking the idea of blue fire for these sections. I started with over top of my eye areas, pulling up to create a little bit more of a stronger shape there. And then on the cheeks, I went ahead and figured out where my regular contour would be, kind of adding a double contour just for fun, and then going over that with the same textures to create kind of that smoky feel. On the neck and chest is where I started using more of the small eye shader instead of just the fine liner, because keeping the details too small on the neck and chest would mean that it just kind of gets a little bit too busy and it actually isn't as legible, whereas if we make some sections bigger, it will read better from a distance. A lot of this texture building was really just trial and error and kind of just letting the brush do whatever it wants, creating like little squiggles, leaving some exposed areas, some like negative space, but there really was no perfect way to do this. So don't worry if you're just kind of having fun and just seeing what comes out of it. You'll get kind of this nice smoky, fiery effect from it. Then going back to the flat kabuki brush that we started with, I also use this more in a stippling motion with a shimmer iridescent paint, so that way when you move it'll kind of catch light and give a little bit more of that kind of dragon inspiration I had going on, thinking kind of like scale shimmers. But again, more just a nice way to add texture and a little bit more visual interest. If you also want to boost a little bit of contrast, like I kind of felt it needed, I did take a little bit of a matte black shadow as well and follow all the exact same steps that I'd done with the blue shadow and the brushes, just to kind of add a little bit more variation in shades instead of just being the blues to have all the darker areas stand out. Quickly filled in my brows with the Blue Fire line brush and a gray eyeshadow, and then I wanted to start better defining the eye shape. And to do this, I kept using the line brush as well as the fine liner that I was using earlier, just for a little bit more control in that small section, and taking the same cobalt blue and a little bit of the black and building up that same smoky texture just across the nose and underneath my eyes. And then just to finish that off, I went in with my SUVA Beauty Hydraliner in Space Panda, which is just a white water-activated paint, really. And the fine liner brush, I just started adding a bunch of little dotting details. One, because I just wanted a little bit more brightness and contrast in certain areas, as well as I'm a little bit addicted to adding dots to most of my looks. So I figured, why not? Because it looks really whimsical and fun to me. So I just put them wherever I felt they could fit. Then for lips, I just went in with a matte black color first, filled in my entire lip shape, and followed it over with a NYX Cosmic Lip Metals in green. I just like having a dark base in case there's any gaps in the glossy type of metallic lip over top, but just to give myself a nice dark green lip. And then the last step was to throw in some contacts, throw on a wig, and you are done. All right, and that is it for my, again, not currently named Blue Fire Dragon Mermaid inspiration look. I hope you guys still really enjoyed this one and got some ideas for your own stuff, and if you do, as always, please tag me in them throughout this month, because I really want to see what you guys are creating, because you guys are insanely talented and I just want to see all of it and just like bask in the creativity that is Halloween. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this was one of my sponsored videos with MODA, which is a brush company under Royal Langnickel, and they've been nice enough to send me an extra set of the MODA 13-piece Pro set. In both my videos you will see that while I was using the mythical sets, that are usually sets of 5, I was also using a lot of the pieces from the MODA Pro set, which I really love this one because it has pretty much everything you would need to create a magical creature. I'm not going to eat up all the time here at the end of the video, so I will have everything in the description down below on how to enter and what you need to do to possibly win. And yeah, that will be it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know your comments down below. It means the world to me. Any kind of feedback really makes a difference. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I of course will see you next video. So until then, bye guys.